Hello and welcome to the IPL final review at the Sports Entertainment Weekly. I have Gandalf and Rehan Shah, formerly known as Dibley Dobler. Welcome back, gentlemen. We have a lot of ground to cover today. One could say we have almost as much ground to cover as Travis Head did on November 19, 2023. Um, I had to go
The
there.
only ground he covered yesterday was the way to the pitch and back to the dressing room.
Yes,
I
that's
I feel
also
it's been happening a few times over the last few matches, right? I mean, he's on a streak. And
Yeah.
speaking of streaks, I think we should speak of the other streaks as well. Kriska.
7-0. Mitchell freaking Stark, one of the modern day goats, one of the underrated bowlers in the
I'm
Australian
sorry.
Holy
He
Flame.
was underrated.
Yeah, he is. I
Mitchell
mean,
Stark's underrated.
potentials. If you
No,
look
I
at
think
okay,
if
fair.
you're asking which among the quartet is likely to be dropped, it would
Yeah,
always be Mitch Stark, mainly because his
He's not as good.
strike rate his strike rate in test cricket is not that great, and he's not containing as much as the other bowlers in the lineup. The only reason why he gets picked ahead of someone like Hazelwood or even any other bowler, Pattinson or anybody else, is because he's a left arm fast bowler, and that's a
yeah.
rarity. The angle gives you that this thing. So even if he goes out of form, he will always get picked just for the variety.
Yeah.
So yeah, that way he's
Anyway,
underrated.
Yeah.
coming back from that slight Australian detour, um, let's quickly read through the score lines. SRH won the toss and elected to bat. You can't really mistake them. Pat Cummins did the same thing 2 days ago, and SRH were in deep trouble only to be bailed out by their middle order. And in the end, 170 odd runs was good enough in the match against Rajasthan Royals, who they beat for a place in the finals. So I don't think there was really that was really an eyebrow raising decision by any means, especially in the finals with the kind of batting lineup that they have. So they chose to bat, but as luck would have it, Mitchell Stark was just having one of his typical knockout days, as we have come to see time and again. Uh, Bowled possibly the best ball of the tournament, pitching in middle and slightly moving away to hit top of off. Like that, 9 out of 10 times you could be any batter, and there is a good chance that you're going to get out to that. And from there on, there was not really any respite for SRH. Travis Head followed suit. Trying to chase a ball again outside off, something that we have come to see as a weakness for him. We also saw some of the videos
Leave it to
circulating.
these two to only talk about the Australians in the 11. A team that's had 10 other 10 other cricketers from multiple different countries, but just talk about the Australians. All we've had is Mitchell Stark and Travis Head. Come on. Mitchell Stark was by far the worst bowler in that lineup. I am sorry to break it to you. He had an outstanding final. He had an outstanding spell in the final and the qualifiers. I'll give you that. But without a doubt, he was the worst bowler in that bowling lineup. People all the bowlers and Sunil Narayan really stepped up big time there. You look at Harshit Rana at the death, Vaibhav Arora up front, Sunil Narayan and Varun Chakravarti just choked the middle. You had nothing.
Fair enough, fair enough.
Andre Martin just hit the
I
deck.
was simply calling out the opening bowler and the opening batsman. No need to
Yeah, yeah,
take.
sure.
I think keeping the Australian biases aside, I would probably agree with one narrative that he sets the tone. Mid Stark, whichever big match, whether it's a World Cup final, semi-final, he starts it off in the first over, makes a statement, and whenever he has failed in certain other matches, in the initial overs, Australia hasn't really gone on to do well in that match, and I think that's where that becomes really important in a big match, and that's why clutch God, Mitch Stark than anybody else like Pat Cummins. And for your information, Pat Cummins is first change. Josh Hazelwood doesn't take up the new ball. It's always Mitch Stark. Why? because he sets the tone. A wicket, early wicket, whether it's a Yorker, a ball that swings away slightly and takes the clips the stump, whatever. I mean, it
Gary
just
Burns
knocks off the
knows well.
opposition. I don't think a Sunil Narayan or anybody else would be able to do that up front unless there is little assistance to the slower bowlers on a wicket. So
And is
Chennai started
clearly
off a wicket, but
frustrated
then
at this point.
yeah,
We
You're
will
not.
move
Like,
on
it's
to
I
more
will
like
give you the fact that wickets are very important in the first 3, 4 overs in a T20 game. After that, wickets kind of become irrelevant. And Mitchell Stark can set you up games. Like, a bowler with immense talent, if the pitch has movement, there is nobody else that you'd prefer, at least in that bowling lineup with that new cherry. Sorry, that's red ball, right? Yeah, with the new ball. And yeah, Mitchell Stark, amazing. He can swing the ball up front. While he does not have the same pace that he once did, he's still pretty freaking good. Like, I think he's the fittest fast bowler since like Brett Lee or Shoaib Akhtar. Like, I don't think anybody's had been able to deliver at that pace and for this longevity without many injuries, playing all three formats, being a vital cog in all three formats. So I'll give you credit where credit's due, but credit's due to the five other bowlers in that KKR lineup as well,
yeah,
namely Varun
absolutely.
Chakravarti, who I think has been absolutely amazing. He started off on the wrong foot or whatever. He might not have had the greatest of games. He just missed his lengths. You could say like his space, his variations are still there. But once he got his lengths back in after the initial 4, 5 games, he was untouchable. He was even better than your Sunil Narayan, who pulls throws a was for absolutely nothing and still uh,
They just get throws
yeah, and he out bowled Sunil Narayan. Out,
out
yeah,
throws Sunil
bowled him
Narayan.
something. Neeraj Chopra is injured, right? On a completely unrelated note. Anyway, so yeah, and Harshit Rana been a revelation this tournament. Hit the deck bowling, like absolutely relentless. He's got all the variation. I would say, I would go as far as to say, he has a long way to go to improve, but purely based on skill sets, I think he's second only to Bumrah currently among Indian pacers. He's got your hit the deck ability. He's got that pace. He can swing, seam, etc. Say, okay, barring your Bumrah and Shami, I'd say purely based off of skill set, he is your second best. Even Shami can't hit the deck as much as somebody else. Shami is more of your steam, your what is it, steady kind of bowler like an Umesh Yadav. So yeah, amazing potential, and he can dunk as well. He can give you useful runs, slow down the order. 2027 World Cup. Watch Harshit Rana. He's going to be a big name for the future. And along with Mitchell Stark, somebody who shared the new ball with him and did a really, really good job up front was Vaibhav Arora. So a lot of credit to two people in the KKR setup who I don't think get as much credit as they deserve. One is Bharat Arun for the amazing bowling lineup that he's actually produced. So Vaibhav Arora, Harshit Rana aren't really they aren't people who scream your Bumrah, Shami, etc. They aren't going to be the first name on the list. And yet he made something incredible out of these people. He used Russell exactly the way he must have, like in the middle overs at the depth, using his hit the deck ability, using those slower balls, change of paces, wild Yorkers, and then like an absolute spin choke, which we don't even have to talk about. So both Bharat Arun and Abhishek Nair, who like every time DK speaks in an interview, he mentions Abhishek Nair. Venkatesh Iyer also came. Varun Chakravarti came yesterday, and they both spoke about how Abhishek Nair is vital to nurturing these Indian talents
Yeah,
in the setup.
So
I think
who do
this.
you think is going to be retained as far as the bowling lineup is concerned? And I think you covered good ground as far as the whole bowling squad and the talent was concerned. For from a Kolkata Knight Riders point of view, who do you think KKR is going to retain in this lineup? Mitch Stark has conveyed his intentions. He's made it clear that he would love to play one more season as an overseas player. Probably they will retain him. We do not know, or maybe he'll go up for auctions. But whether he's going to be the costliest player again is something which we have to wait to see.
I doubt it because what's coming up next year is a mega auction, if I'm not wrong, and you don't generally get those kind of prices in the mega auction. Mitchell Stark, they're probably going to throw him back in the auction just to get more money. Like 24 crores is way too much. He won't get that same amount while being retained. Obviously, he'll go for one of those caps. But I think their
Agree.
overseas retentions are like banking, like for Narayan and Russell. I don't think
So, do
KKR
you
are going to
think
move
Sunil
from the
Narine
first.
and Andre Russell will actually announce retirement or something?
I
I
doubt
mean,
it
they are
because,
there.
like, it. I mean,
Sunil
you
Narine
look at
doesn't even need a run up. He has to just stand and deliver, or stand and yeah.
yeah, stand and deliver. Sounds
why
about
will
right, not bold.
why will
Anyway,
age or shoulders play a role when you have to just throw the ball
elbows
down?
certainly don't. Anyway, no, but like
True.
they had no signs of aging. An interesting fact that I saw on Twitter, I don't know who put it up. I'm sorry if you're not crediting the right person, but Andre Russell did not bat a single time in this entire IPL season when KKR was chasing. I do not know how that is. Like amazing, but it doesn't look like his hitting ability is reduced or his bowling's like you look at Andre Russell of the previous years, you were scared to like let him field. You were that scared of him being injured. But now he's completely turned over a new leaf. He actually looks fitter. He's playing for West Indies as well. He's playing international cricket. And Sunil Narine, yeah, he doesn't have to do much while batting or bowling. He just stands and like swings his arm.
Um, I think it's also important to call
Yeah,
out if KKR punched above their weight this season. Particularly, one name stands out. Once again, it's Sunil Narayan. Uh, I genuinely don't think he can replicate whatever he did this season in the coming season or seasons to come. So that was the difference maker this year. I think he had like an unbelievable freaky batting outing in pretty much every game that he played, and I'm sure KKR will keep that in mind as well. So they
Yeah,
should be
I
going
think
after
we
um,
speak highly of
Brazil.
Travis Head and Abhishek Sharma and SRH's explosive batting approach. But I think something which goes under the radar is KKR's exploits with Phil Salt and Sunil Narayan. I know a lot of them
they were
mention
more
them, but
explosive. They had a higher
yeah,
run rate
exactly. They were more
than
explosive.
SRH.
Exactly.
I think somebody was talking about this possibly in the post match or something. SRH had the most brilliant batting season, but KKR had the most consistent one. And in the end, in the finals, that's what made all the difference. Um, so what else? What else do we have to cover? We have talked about Sunil Narayan, Mitchell Stark. Um, did
Uh,
SRH?
I would say like I'd actually like to, yeah, I'd actually like go back to answer your question once. Like, can KKR replicate this? Yes, we will have a mega auction and the team won't be there. But like, even without the Sunil Narayan's batting prowess, I would still definitely say KKR can replicate it because they have incredible batting depth and batting depth, hitting depth. I mean, you have like somebody like a Ramandeep Singh, your Venkatesh Iyer, your
Twinkle Singh?
Andre Russell, and your Sunil Narine. So, like, these are four players who are outstanding hitters and can still give you something with the ball. They will win you matches on the cricket field purely with their batting, hitting prowess, and they can contribute with the ball as well. How valuable are they? You look at MI 2020 team, their middle order, Pollard and the Pandya brothers. You have them able to contribute 5, 6 overs in a T20 game on any given day. So being stacked with all rounders, having that options while not compromising in your hitting ability, I think KKR has like summed that up perfectly. They have had an amazing auction. I actually
But
didn't
they
see this upfront because of how, yeah,
Yeah, but they didn't even need this batting lineup or anything that you're talking about, right? It all became irrelevant in the finals. The match was purely done and dusted in the first innings with just their bowling lineup. 113 runs, SRH probably
Yeah, that's the
absolutely
thing.
just bottled it. uh, and it was bound to happen at some stage, right? We saw this coming with a heavy top order and an over reliant middle order, which is on Henrik Klaasen. So, in case Klaasen fails,
Larsen.
then probably you can't rely on someone like Abdul Samad, who's been heavily criticized for not being a great contributor to SRH over the years and still getting picked every time. Is it time to look beyond Abdul Samad as an overseas player for SRH? They are, or even someone like
Sorry.
Shabazz Ahmed, who used to play for RCB. How do you buy someone
This
from
is like
RCB
Sheldon
and
Jackson
then?
being an overseas player. Abdul Samad's Indian. Why are you doing a
I
Vikrant
don't know.
Gupta? Sheldon Jackson, Abdul Samad are Indians. He's from Jammu and
Okay, I
Kashmir.
think that was that was
Oh,
scandal.
oh, oh my God.
Paying
Okay.
homage to one Mr. Murli, surname redacted.
Sorry, pardon my ignorance for confusing Abdul Samad with someone else and confusing his nationality. So yeah, I mean, either way, the point that I'm trying to make is that why do you want to really stick with a really shaky middle order? This was bound to happen anyway. With if Travis held and Abhishek Sharma fail, then probably they will capitulate. This was always coming, and the match was over. And you don't need someone like Andre Russell and Sunil Narayan and Phil Salt and who not to actually chase down 113 runs. It can be done by RCB's lower order. Yeah, right. So it's that much
Ironically,
of a
RCB would have actually given a run for their own money if they were put into the same situation, having to chase 113. But, gentlemen, I'd like to take a slight detour here and address the auctions. I think Rehan earlier brought up how KKR has chiseled the squad to near perfection over the last few years. They have backed up fringe players. I think they have done this in the past with players like Nagakoti or Amavi as well. It feels like just as all of this is coming together, uh, it's going to get disbanded, right? And one of the discourses that's going on in the cricketing fraternity um, is this IPL auction model the way to go? It doesn't build loyalty, it doesn't reward teams who have gotten their balance right. There are counter arguments to keep the things the way they are, but let's talk about the former first.
Okay, so I'll start off by saying, absolutely, the IPL has matured enough as a league to be done away with the like mega auction system. You had that one cycle of mega auction post the two new teams coming in, and as soon as you saw, like as soon as the two new teams come in, it's always difficult for two new teams to perform. But both of them actually, both LSG and GT were into the playoffs in both their first two seasons. Uh, Good work, great work by the team, but they actually did pretty well. And that's usually difficult for new teams to do that. But the fact that you can see it is evidence that the IPL has matured enough as a league. And you look at the 10 team IPL now, you look at the team that's up front, like up there, top, like KKR and SRH, and you look at the Mumbai Indians. Mumbai Indians almost did chase the 277 against SRH. Mumbai Indians did not actually have that bad a game against KKR. They were in a winning position before they lost. Punjab gave any team their run for their money. The difference, like in the performance between the top teams and the bottom teams, aren't that high. That's when you know, like the teams are actually pretty well balanced. Mumbai had some, as a Mumbai fan, Mumbai had some terrible, terrible bowling plans. They had decent bowlers to execute, something they could have, but I don't think they did it. Everything went accordingly to plan. The this evolution of whatever of Hardik Pandya as a hitter, etc., all of that worked against them. But I think you're not like you look at Abdul Samad. He Yes, his highest score is only 37, by the way, in the many IPL outings he's had, which is kind of a downer because SRH have had situations where he's been batting up the order. You blame his shot selection, etc. But he's great find. Him, Umran Malik, Harshit Rana, Vaibhav Arora, the Pandya brothers at one point of time, Jasprit Bumrah, all of these are great finds that came through scouts. You are not rewarding your scouts at all. You look at Quena Mafaka. He's somebody with outstanding ability. Mumbai Indians found him at 17. Yes, they didn't really scout him. He was already pretty popular. But you look at Marco Jansen. Mumbai Indians scouted him, but lost him because of these unnecessary. You can open up transfers, trades, the mini auctions make sense. But I think it's big. It's well beyond time to be done away with a mega auction. You're not rewarding the players for their outstanding, sometimes outstanding, like scouts. Punjab Kings, despite their dismal performance, have really found some amazing teams, have like amazing players,
Yeah,
etc. All of that stuff. So yeah,
I would actually argue against that. But let me allow Candal to speak before that.
I'll just make one point on that. Non-cricketing reason. I think it just confuses the viewer. It just disturbs the viewers' notion about teams, the fan following. It just disturbs the whole, the marketing aspect of the game. When you're actually marketing aspect of the teams. When you have a team like, let's say, Punjab, it probably doesn't have a face till now, to be honest. But at one point, it was synonymous to someone like Yuvraj Singh, right? So, and look at Chennai; it revolves around MS Dhoni. RCB, we do not know if Virat Kohli goes and plays for Pune or Lucknow or whichever team comes up. Um, Really, I mean, it will not make sense to the viewer. As a fan, I'd probably like to see as much stability as possible in a team for at least a few years running. We don't need mega auctions to disturb the parity and disturb the whole roster time and again, among these teams. So not a big fan of the mega auctions. At least that's my first point of view.
Okay, that's interesting. I think then I can address or argue against both of you at one go. So I am really liking the mega auctions because of the balance that it has allowed for the league, and I would like to credit FinFlow on Twitter for this beautiful analysis that they posted maybe today or yesterday about how IPL is different from other powerhouses like a Premier League or a La Liga, which is just four or five really big teams and rest of them just playing like supporting roles. And taking a parallel from English Premier League, even if you look at the last weekend when Manchester City and Arsenal were going all in on the final day of the season, nobody thought Arsenal could actually pip Manchester City because City was going up against a really weak team while Arsenal had to win their game against, I want to say, like a not so great team. But if you take the same situation in an IPL, we have seen this time and again with the net run rate battle. Like even on the last day, Punjab Kings, despite being an abysmal failure, or an RCB, they can come in any day and just win against any team. And IPL is the bigger brand here, and that keeps the league super interesting. The
Why do
only
you
way
speak? Why do you use Punjab and RCB in the same? I mean, you don't mention them on the same breath.
they
Sorry
do
for
come under
interrupting.
I
Please
mean,
go ahead.
if you are talking about teams that haven't won the
they,
trophies.
they share the same trophy cabinet. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so do we, by the way. Anyway, my point being, unless we get to a stage where there is like 15, 20 teams and there is a relegation system in place, I am perfectly happy with the way the mega auctions are. That puts the league at the center of things. And I think it's a huge marketing win as well for IPL because it doesn't matter which team that you're supporting, you're always up for watching any two random teams fight it out because there is enough star power in each and every team.
I would argue against that as well. See, you look at it purely from a brand point of view. I'm an advertising student, so I know what I'm talking about. Uh, So any brand for you to have like a message that needs to resonate with the audience, you need consistency. So you don't get consistency when one season Hardik Pandya is doing all of that for Gujarat. I'll give you the biggest example actually with Hardik Pandya. When he went to Gujarat Titans, he was all of a sudden talking about how the Chennai setup is what he's trying to emulate, etc. All of that stuff. While he himself, and like he said, MI finds the best players and hires them, etc. All of that stuff. While he himself is somebody that MI scouted. And next season, he's coming to MI, and then he has to talk about that franchise and how they find
Did we
hidden
lose
talents,
Rehan?
etc. All of that stuff.
I don't think the
Oh,
stream
hello.
is taking it the stream is not taking it kindly to Rehan taking digs at Hardik Pandya and Mumbai Indians. I think Candolph, any thoughts on that from you?
No, I think hence we moved into the corner of the screen for the time being.
Go
uh,
standing up.
uh,
We don't like your
yeah,
opinion.
no, I think
I'll go face the comment.
I have no more points on this one in particular, but I think we can probably speak about what went wrong for someone. We spoke about what went right for KKR. What went wrong for SRH? They are known to be the team that actually hits the ball out of the park if they're batting first. But in the last few matches, probably it's almost like the teams really sorted them out, probably figured out all the chinks in their armor. They knew that if they got Travis Head or someone else early, they could probably crack the code to beating SRH and not letting them score 240 plus. Uh, so I think end of a streak for Pat Cummins in terms of major trophies. But
He's fixing
overall,
it in a month, Dolphy. I wouldn't worry too much about it.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just us making up as cricket fans on what all he has done in the last 2 years. But he's been doing it for a long time, to be honest. If you look at his overall career, um, series after series, he's been the star. So it's not like he suddenly turned it around in the
His
last two
records
years.
are a
And
player isn't too bad either.
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I think the auctions is something which we can come back to now. Now that you have clearly mentioned that we should be talking about how we go forward with IPL, in future. Do you think that we should have something like? I mean, I'll put the question this way: on impact player rules and other rules that are there. Should we just go back to having just normal 2020 international cricket rules in IPL? Or should it be a ground for experimentation, like how the ECB does it, the English Cricket Board, England and Wales Cricket Board does it? Um, do we need to use IPL as an experiment, as a lab to just try out new rules, or because IPL is not known to be doing that? IPL is somewhere we do things for money. We just call it strategic timeouts and things like that. But uh,
Curiosity time
See
out,
at
boys.
strategic time.
See at curiosity this year.
should we just keep it simple, because it also helps players keep their mind around rules that are pretty stable across both international formats and also domestic formats.
Oh,
And
absolutely. I think it makes no sense. You have a World Cup coming up in a month, and IPL being the biggest platform to prep for that, and you have a rule like an impact sub that is nowhere to be found in international cricket, but on which your entire team strategy hinges on in IPL cricket. This dissonance does not sit well with me, and I think it's gonna hurt India more than any other team, because at the end of the day, it's BCCI who's making these rules, and if we are not, in line with what the international cricket follows, it puts you in the back foot more than any other team, I feel.
more so because most of them captaining IPL teams, it's probably the biggest domestic league in the world, and most of them captaining are Indian players, and they have this mindset. The Indian captains, of course, whether it is Shreyas Iyer or Hardik Pandya or anyone else, They have the same mindset while going into international tournaments, and that dissonance probably would matter in a big tournament, which is run by the ICC.
Absolutely. Anyway, I think we are right on time. We have covered the finals, and as expected, it didn't take us much time. And we had a detour to the auction strategy and whether, and then of course the rules in IPL and who should do what. How do we want to close this one? Predictions for
With the World T20 coming up, I just want to put a question there. Who are the biggest stars uh, who you think will come up in the World Cup? Who we
I
saw perform
I
in the
will add to
IPL
this.
one, and who we didn't see
Okay.
perform well in the IPL? I would
Mhm.
probably, uh, you know, see someone like Yuzvendra Chahal performing well in the World Cup. Maybe not so much in the IPL. He did have his chances, but yeah.
I have a
Who
feeling
are
the
your
IPL MVP is not going to fare that well in the World Cup.
okay? Which
Yeah.
is which is definitely going to ruffle a few feathers out there. I would probably also say that someone like Glenn Maxwell, who is known to be a fraud, that's the term that they use. So he doesn't play well in the IPL at all, just comes here for vacation. That's the accusation that most fans of RCB, most fans of Kings, Punjab Kings or Kings 11 Punjab.
Honestly, this is really unfair on Glenn Maxwell because the previous season he had, I thought that was
Yeah,
brilliant.
I know, I know. I was just making lighthearted comments because this is what we
The
read
last
on the
three
socials, right? So it's just that he gets trolled because of the
Can't be
performances
just
that he.
acting out like an RCB fan
seasons, to be
at
honest.
this point.
He had an amazing, like,
So yeah, so I think someone like Glenn Maxwell can be expected to perform well. I see that Cameron Green has been coming of age in each format 2 years at a time. Uh, but now I think is his 2020 time. He's probably come of age in the 2020 format, and this probably could be a career-defining World Cup for him from a T20 point of view. As far as the Indian players Indian players are concerned, I think this could be the end of Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma as we know them in this format at least. I
Yeah.
don't think they should be opening with this. This is the same mistake that RCB did. If they are going to open with Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, as per popular vote or something like that, then it's going to be a disaster. But they will definitely go with Yashasvi Jaiswal, right? So they should be fine with that. But Rohit Sharma has a lot to prove, given the circumstances around Mumbai Indians and a lot of and the politics that's discussed. So the fans and not the fans but the dressing room and the management at the same time are probably looking for excuses to show Rohit Sharma the way out, just like they did to Virat Kohli. I'm sorry to say that, and I'm sorry to be so political here, but then it's it's
What's
it's the
that
end.
one Taylor Swift song that starts with a K and ends with an A? I really hope there's.
it's a business. The franchise is a business. The
I think
franchise is a
Rahan,
business at the
you're
end of the day, so pretty fair with them.
yeah, I think Rahan is having
Cool.
network trouble. So yeah, Priska, I think we discussed
Rahan is
all
having
that we had to
issues.
discuss.
As a Mumbai Indians fan, are you really surprised that he's having issues?
Issues with network and networking. I think
That on brand
uh,
for Rehan and Mumbai. Anyway, let's look out for the T20 World Cup. Of course, Gandalf and I will be donning the Australian colors, cheering our Kangaroos, while Rehan and Archit, who is not on the stream today, they will come and bat for India. We are looking forward to many more battles throughout the World Cup. And do let us know your thoughts on the auction strategy because I feel as the next edition of IPL rolls out, that will become a really big talking point simply because of the way this KKR's victory played out. It's been years in the making, so I definitely expect that to happen. be a big discourse in the next edition. And of course, stay tuned, subscribe, as we have a lot of T20 content coming up. Also, we have football content on the same channel, where we do a lot of regular, you know, virtual catch-ups covering football matches and other discussions. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Look forward to connecting again.